G'day. Been wanting to do this video for a while, just for the newbies. Well, the blokes are into sim racing, like doing ACC or any other sims, and want to sort of have a crack at iRacing, even though it looks pretty expensive and pretty in-depth sort of service. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a look at some of the things you probably should need to know before you jump into it. Alright, so first thing, we've got memberships here. So at the moment, until 22nd of August, they're 75% off. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, it was on 40% off or something. So it's still, for new members, it's still pretty cheap. So yeah, it's even for like existing members, at most of the time, every year Black Friday, there's normally like 40% off or 30% off or something for renewals, so you can top up your account at a cheaper price. What's included with the membership is so you get 16 cars and 22 tracks with 70 configurations, so it'll get you going to rookie. So if you want to sort of jump in and sign up for a month or something, then you'll be able to race something anyway, like rookies class obviously. But it's the same with the rookie classes. They're always going to have the free tracks as well. So for us Aussies, at least there's an Orion Park, like for an Aussie track. So the rest is all, there's a couple of ovals, and if you come from Gran Turismo or something, there's a Cuba. So I'm sure if you've done any other sort of sim, you'll know a couple of these tracks, like Laguna Seca, Lime Rock and Summit. I didn't know until iRacing, but there's a couple of dirt oval tracks too, so if you want to have a crack at Speedway and stuff. So on top of the membership, there is obviously a fee for cars and stuff, so the majority of cars are $11.95. So, but not only that, well, this is the unowned cars, so I'm not going to show the ones I've already owned, but as you can see, $11.95. But for example, if you buy like the Mercedes GT3 just came out, it's gone to Legacy now, which means there's an updated version. But so if you buy that car, then within 24 months, and like a newer version comes out, you get the $11.95 back, so you can buy the new car. So that's probably a good thing, even though it does sound quite expensive. So with the tracks, similar sort of pricing. Some are $14.95. So again, this is the ones unowned. Some $14.95, some $11.95. Depends. Like some of the dirt oval tracks and the oval tracks $11.95, because I think the more configurations that they've scanned, then the more expensive it is. But just keep in mind, I'll put on the screen here. So once you've owned 40 pieces of content, every time you buy something, you get 20% off the content. So it's not always full price. So a little bit of a discount, I suppose. Another good thing that's probably different to the other games, they give you participation credits. Obviously, iRacing can be quite expensive, as you know. Like for every car, like you sort of pick a series and you want to race that one series, you buy the tracks accordingly for that series. But as you can see, there's a race participation credit program, so I normally try and get at least 8 official races done in 2 or 3 series every season. So once you get 8 official races, so from D through to C license, you get $4. And then B through to A, you get $7. So it's a maximum of $10, but that money sort of goes to help with, if you want to host a session with your mates, whatever, it does cost you 50 cents for an hour, $1 for 2 hours. It's going to help you run that stuff, and you don't have to sort of feed credits in other than buying content. Now with the license classes, you start at rookie, and then it's DC, BA, and then pro if you get into the esports stuff. But so what they call it is MPR, which is minimum participation requirement. So to go up, so a season is 13 weeks, 12 weeks official, and then 1 week at the end is unofficial. There's a lot of unofficial racing for the 13th week, and that's most of the time they're bringing out new content, so they set up races with new tracks and new cars to sort of test out. But with the minimum participation requirement, you need to get 4 races and keep your safety above 3.0. And then, like for example, I'm trying to get my B class in dirt road. So I've done my 4 races and I'm above 3.0 safety rating. So I'm just going to sit on that until end of season, just so it goes up a license. Yeah, as well for a race to go official, I think in most of the class I race a bit of oval, road and dirt oval. The minimum sort of entries has got to be 6 and above, like just so it goes official. Otherwise it's done ranked, you don't lose safety and I rating. But so with the SR and I rating's well a speed rating and a safety rating. SR is safety rating. So like for example, you might get an off track touch of grass in the race, you might get a 1x. If you have a car contact, it's a 4x. If you have a loss of control, so like spin out or something like that before you touch the grass and the car gets to a certain point where it's 2 sideways, it's 2x. So there's a big mathematical equation that I've got no idea about. Well, some idea, but like the longer the race, the more corners, the less off tracks and car contacts are going to affect you, because it's a big mathematical equation. So if you do 10 lap race and you get 1 or 2 off tracks, you still might be alright. Now I've been on iRacing about nearly 3 years now. So the diehards will probably get at me about this, but I use the beta UI. It just makes it sort of feel like a bit more of a game. You can use a web browser one, but it's just, I don't know, it just feels very clunky and old school for me. But I've used the beta, this is what they call the beta UI software. I've used it since day one, so I've known a drama. Yeah, so now with the license progression racing, I always just start the ones I'm racing. So I'll go to road, for example. License crew, okay. So in rookies in road, so you've got MX5 Cup, free car, free tracks, and for the 12 weeks they're all free tracks. So if you're going to jump in it, I think the majority of people probably do road racing, so you don't have to really buy any content other than the subscription, and you should be right to go racing. Like it's just it's 11:15 PM here in Oz. And you're definitely going to get a race. There's 60 odd people entered, and there's a few in practice sessions down here. So how it works is you can jump in a practice session whenever you want. They're 2-hour stints, and half an hour before the race you can enter, and then you can keep practicing. But yeah, then you'll do late into a race, and you've got 3 minutes practice, 8 minutes qualifying, and then whatever the race distance is. So what is it here? 15 laps, fixed setup around Alton Park Fosters. So as you carry on through, so yeah, you do have Formula V as well, but I don't really race them things. They're too bloody slow, to be honest. Open wheel can be carnage. So as you can see, yeah, so once you get sort of out of rookies, there is an MX5 Cup, I think, in D class, but D class you've got a couple of different cars. The Skippies is probably a good thing to start with as well. And if you want to get into GT3s, at least there's a fixed series with one making the Ferrari 488 GT3, or even the TCR. There's a couple of good feeder series with fixed setups, so you don't have to worry about setup so much, to just jump in and start racing and not have to worry about that stuff, and just learn to see what the game feels like compared to ACC or Project Cars or R Factor or AMS2. It feels quite different. The licensing system probably does sound quite daunting, but it's probably similar to the ACC. I've sort of dabbled in a bit of that lately just to see what the go is, but it's sort of to get your experience before you get to the A-class racing. Same in Gran Turismo and anything like that. There's obviously progression stage, like ACC's got the things online where you got to have track trophies. You got to get so many clean laps to get a track trophy to be able to join the race and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so obviously the serious racing gets from B to A-class. There's some good long races in here. There's a 1 hour races. There's some short enduros that run probably every 2 hours on rotation. Yeah, so you've got obviously hosted races as well, so which won't affect your rating and safety. So you can sort of have a browse in here if you've got the content, just jump in if it's not locked, got a padlock at least where it requires a password. And yeah, like I said before, that's going to cost you 50 cents for an hour, or I think I don't know if it gets cheaper the more hours you book, but yeah, it's I don't know, it doesn't really cost me anything because I've done the the participation credits. I never really have to put any physical money back in to host a race. Yeah, I originally joined iRacing to get into dirt oval because there's no other really games that you can have a crack in sprint cars and dirt oval, and iRacing have done it pretty good with the track wear and how the track slicks off in between hooky when it starts. Very wet track and then slick by the end, but the track progression is pretty good in this game. So you got in sprint cars, you're starting to throw out 5 different smaller cubic inch powered cars. But then you got to start buying a few tracks. In the rookie, you got street stock. So it's a rotation of the free tracks. So there's 3 free tracks that's on rotation. And then with the oval racing, very similar, you're starting a street stock, which is a very basic sort of car. And then on the free tracks, they've really got choice. If you want to do on-road racing, oval or dirt oval, you're gonna, if you join up for a month and try it out, you don't have to buy any content. You can just jump in and have a bit of a crack and see if it feels good to you, and if you want to get deeper into it. Yeah, so one thing that's probably different to the other games, that you can actually have custom paints. So for example, always on Mercedes, one of the new cars. So in Photoshop, it's pretty high tech. I've done a video on how to paint the cars, but yeah, so I can create a paint like this, and then we upload it to a external software called Trading Paints. So as you can see, as long as they've got that software, and they can, I think probably the majority of iRacing people have got these software, so they can run custom paints. Everything looks pretty trick. But yeah, you don't have to make your own. You can just browse Trading Paints and pick one. And it's just like a little program running in the background that downloads the paints from other people's cars, so you can see it as well, and custom numbers and so on, which is a bit different to other games, I suppose. Yeah, another add-on that's probably worth having when you're starting out is Racelabs. I paid for the pro version, but you only miss out on these the ones showing the diamonds next to it. That's a pro version stuff, but just to have relative, it's going to help you get through rookies. So at least you can see around you, like obviously the gaps, but as well the safety ratings and I ratings. So I don't know, for me, that's if I'm catching someone, I'm going to try a big crazy dive bomb on them. I sort of have a quick glance at their safety and go, all right, he's got high safety rating it's from 0 to 5.0. So if he's in the 4s, I know that, all right, he's got spatial awareness, so I'm going to be able to put it next to him. He's not going to run me off the track. So it's probably a good thing to have in rookies, because it can get quite messy. It's been a while since I've been in rookies, but I think if I knew about this software when I first started, it's probably something I'll definitely have. Yeah, another add-on that's probably further down the track might be virtual racing school. So in the open setup racing, they create setups and driver training, which is quite good. I sort of feel as though that I've gotten faster with their setups, just because I don't have to spend so much time trying to tweak a setup for each week. I can just download it, jump in it, and maybe some fine-tune adjustments, brake bias or diff, just to make the car feel a bit better for me. But I think I've got, even though it's quite expensive, what, $100 a year, $150 a year for Australian, it's when you get deeper into iRacing, I think it's probably something worth having. Another easy thing that iRacing has is league racing. So at the moment, I've been running the Boosted Media Silly Sunday Legends series, if you haven't seen in my YouTube channel. But yeah, I think with the leagues, it's all, the points is automatic within the software. So you haven't got to stuff around and do spreadsheets like Project Cars and Gran Turismo days. It does it all itself, and you can plan the racing and so on. So I don't know how I'm winning, but I've just shown up every week. So initially to start the season, start the league, it's $10, and then obviously every session, everything else, it's going to cost you 50 cents, as I said before. Yeah, one last thing as well. Every sort of season they're doing some more updates, adding a few more cars to this AI racing. So to be honest, I don't really do it all that often, but they're adding more and more cars as it goes on, as time goes on. So you can see here, it's not the full package of cars in the game that they've got iRacing linked to. So every now and then it's probably good to, like, I just jump in the V8 supercar and just muck around and see what I can do with the AI. But yeah, it's like any other game. You can adjust the track conditions and the AI strength and so on. Yes, iRacing's probably been my main sim for about just under 3 years. I definitely think if you've got competitive bone in your body and you sort of want to test your limits to see what sort of pace you've actually got, I think iRacing's probably the place to be. Like, for example, now it's 11 PM Sydney time and there's 5,500 people online currently on the service. So compared to, I know I keep referring to ACC, but I've sort of had a bit of a look into that lately, and yeah, it's probably not as many people online as iRacing does. Like, I think it's the majority of the competitive people that are on iRacing. Like, for example, I don't want to name drop, but like, I've raced against Shane Van Gisbergen, Aussie V8 supercar driver, Rubens Barrichello, Valentino Rossi. I think it was them. I made some Ferrari jokes to Rubens and he thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, he's sort of, because it's linked to a credit card, you've got to show your actual name. I think sometimes it is quite legit. But yeah, like I said, I think if you're quite competitive and you want to test to see what you can do, iRacing's probably the service to be on. It does, depending on your budget, obviously, it can get quite expensive, but like, for example, you just pick a season. So here, for example, TCR, I'm currently running 4th. I'm trying to get podium, but we'll see how we go after the end of the season. So say if you want to race GT3, for example, it's the same sort of thing. You look at the schedule and go, all right, I like that track, I don't like that. You buy the ones you like, and then you don't have to run the ones you don't like. So you don't have to buy every single track. You just pick a car. That's what I did initially. I just jumped in for dirt oval racing in sprint cars and got hooked. Tried a bit of road racing, but yeah, so all right. I hope that helps a bit. Helps you guys that haven't got into iRacing yet and sort of thinking about it. I don't know what it's all about. I hope this gives you a bit of a look into what it's all about. And if you're going to join up anyway, I'll leave a referral link in the description. If you can just click that link and sign up if you're going to. Just help me out. I think we both get a few credits or something, I think. But yeah, all right. I hope it helped. Cheers.